Good evening. My name is Nicholas Siro, and today I want to share a very interesting topic with you guys. And the topic is alternative source of energy compared to that of fossil fuel. Today I want to inform and in part compare both sources of energy. My audience today will be the CSI graduating class of 2020 engineering students. I want to explore what is fossil fuel and what is alternative sources of energy, draw some of my decision or my conclusion from the scientific evidence that are available out there regarding to both sources of energy, and what are some of the environmental impact that these form of energy has today. Let's begin. Alternative sources of energy are abundant. Take, for example, solar power. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists 2013, solar power plant require little maintenance, it is sustainable, and it is a good source of energy. Solar energy converts energy from the sun to useful form of energy such as electricity. Electricity is the predominant use of energy in today's world. Wind energy is also a renewable source of energy and a sustainable source of energy. Wind energy garnishes energy by means of spinning turbine due to wind, which then pass through a magnetic field to produce useful form of energy, such as electricity. According to Excel Energy 2010, geothermal energy is a form of energy which garnishes energy by motion of water by spinning a turbine to produce useful form of energy, like electric energy. These forms of energy are renewable and sustainable, but not always reliable. Right? So, now that I've explored what alternative sources of energy is, before I move to the next step, you'd want to know what is fossil fuel. So fossil fuel is crude oil. Centuries ago, when organic matters by means of volcano, earthquake get compressed in the ground, it forms crude oil. And crude oil go through a process called fracking, which produce different types of layer or grade of crude oil. One of the most popular type that we know today is kerosene oil and gasoline, which are both crude oil, which are examples of fossil fuel. So, with that said, what are some of the environmental impact of alternative sources of energy? Alternative sources of energy does not contribute to global warming. It doesn't contribute to greenhouse gases in our environment. Alternative source of energy is clean energy. But let me not say that they don't contribute zero pollutants to the environment. They contribute little to no pollutant to our environment. And they do it indirectly. So with all of these positive effects and positive things about alternative sources of energy, why aren't we using alternative sources of energy in today's world? Instead, we are using fossil fuel. Fossil fuel has a high calorific value, meaning it produces a huge amount of energy. Fossil fuel is reliable, unlike that of alternative sources of energy. Imagine a solar car with 10 months of no sun. Imagine a wind car with 1 week of no wind. Imagine a water car. Well, that is impossible, right? Technology is evolving to that level. But for now, let's take it as what it is. So the high calorific value that fossil fuel produces, which is reliable, but is not sustainable because the world's reserve of fossil fuel is being depleted, right? So fossil fuel produce high heat, and fossil fuel is readily available compared to alternative sources of energy. But Fossil fuel requires the combustion of an engine or some turbine to produce energy. With this, there is the production of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, all of which are considered greenhouse gases, which then contribute to global warming. And global warming and our environment today is a huge topic. So, I have explored the use of alternative sources of energy. What are some of the benefits of using alternative sources of energy compared to that of fossil fuel? And what are some of the uses, some of the benefits of using fossil fuel compared to that of alternative sources of energy? Well, scientists has estimated that within the next century or two, the world's reserve of fossil fuel will deplete. And also, the world today as we know it in terms of global warming, that will be different also. So, as the graduating class, the engineering graduating class will be, which you will be the engineer of tomorrow. I want you to make your own decision on what needs to be done in terms of the world today as we see it. And what do you think about alternative sources of energy? Do you think we should be focusing more on exploring alternative sources of energy? Or do you think fossil fuel will have its way in our world and we will adapt to all its effect? Thank you for listening.